Alright everyone, I'm here to give you a video. A video a little bit different today, a little bit more fresh video. As you saw, if you've seen my schedule video, you are now going to get every Monday a movie Monday review. And what this is going to be is every Monday I'm going to review a movie, kind of, the name kind of speaks for itself, but in case you guys don't know. And it will be all types of movies. It will be comedies. It will be horror. It will be sci-fi. Maybe romantic comedies, maybe, but I'm not really a huge fan of those. And other stuff. And I'm going to review it. I have DVDs I can review. I can watch them on Netflix. Or I can go to the movie theater if I want to. And then when I come back, review it. So a bunch of variety of stuff can happen. Right now, I'm going to give you a movie review, and this movie is actually a great movie. This was actually a great movie. I just got done watching it like a few minutes ago. And this is called Dumb and Dumber. Everybody should know what this movie is just because it's kind of a classic movie. It's never been done before. I've never seen it till today. I heard about good things about it, but I never seen it until today. And this movie came out on December 16th, 1994. I guess this is the main reason why I don't know about it, because I wasn't really born when this came out. I was born in 1996, So, this was a good movie, though. It was a comedy movie, and it was a lot of comedy stuff. I'm not gonna go through who's in the movie, like who plays who yet, just because it will kind of give away who's gonna be in the movie, and it will kind of give away what happens. So I'm just gonna wait until I'm done with the movie, and after the movie's over, you can I'll tell you who's in it. So this movie, I don't really know where it takes place. Actually, it never says where it starts. Hold on. Trying to find out. Doesn't say where the movie takes place. Oh, it starts out in Providence, Rhode Island. There we go. And it continues later on. What happens first is we meet this guy, and he's driving in a limousine. We see a person waiting by like the bus stop, and he tries to get this girl. Makes up this lie that he's going to the hospital to teach a class, and his limo driver got lost, and she tells him how to get there, and he's like, "Oh, why don't you come with me or something?" Tries to pick her up pretty much, but it doesn't work. But he actually is a limo driver, and he meets up with this girl, and he's driving her to the airport. And he falls in love with this girl the second he sees her. We find out this girl's name is Mary Swartzen, and she's going to Aspen, Colorado, and kind of stuff. And we find out this guy's name is Lloyd Christmas. That's what they really called him. I don't know why it's Lloyd Christmas. It really did say that. Odd. Never really. His last name's a Holiday. It's kind of strange. And we find out a ton of stuff about him, like he has another job after this, and him and his friend, who we're going to meet later, are going to saving up money so they can buy, get their own business. They want to be dogs. They want to run a business doing something with dogs. And then he says, "I got worms," and I think that's like a disease or something like that. So it sounded really awkward when he said it. But he says we got worms that we're gonna like feed the dogs. So yeah. But he drives into the airport and he gives her a hug, which creeped her out. And then we meet his friend. I mean, I'm not really gonna go through like word for thing what happened. I'm just gonna go through what pops up. So then we meet his friend, and he breeds dogs pretty much, and he drives around in a dog costume and a vehicle that's like has a dog on it. It's very, it's decorated like a dog, and he feeds the dogs hot dogs. Yeah, it was really funny. He asked one of them who had the foot long, and like a little dog came. He's like, "Okay, now you just BSing me." And the lady who was running this comes out and is upset because she wanted to like groom her dogs and stuff. He's like, "Oh well, we took care of that." But when she opens it, they're all covered in mustard because of the hot dogs. So that was funny. And then Mary Swatson's getting ready to go on the plane, and we see these two guys. One's name is J.P. Shea, that's the girl, and Joe Mental. So I'm just going to call him... So Mental was able to time out when she was going to drop the briefcase, and then we're going to steal the briefcase that obviously has money in it, because normally when you see a briefcase it has money. And she leaves it there and walks away. I don't know why she walked away. Maybe she just left it behind by accident. And then, and another funny scene that happened is I forgot to mention is when Lloyd was taking Mary to the airport. He was not paying attention to the road, and he almost caused like a bunch of accidents because he was talking about how accidents can happen before you even get to the airport. And then he turns around and he's like, and then she says, "Can you focus on the road, please?" And then he's like, "Oh yeah, because so we have some crazy drivers out there," so that was funny. And then yeah, but he crashes his car, and the airbag pops out, and he's in a car accident. So then what happens is the two Shay and J.P. No, Shay and Mento try to grab the briefcase, but he notices it. So he runs out of the car, grabs the briefcase, and he's going to run off with it and try to go on a flight so that way he can get the briefcase back to her. And the guy's like, "You can't go in there, you can't go in there." And he's like, "Oh, it's okay, I'm a limo driver." And he falls out of the, because the plane had already taken off, so he falls out of the thing that you go in, like the entranceway you go in when you go into the plane. So that was really funny. And it looks like he broke his leg. He like landed awkwardly on his leg too when he fell. And he goes home with Harry. That's his friend's name, but the guy that was the dog groomer. And they're living pretty much a freaking dump. They pretty much do. I thought that was really cool, funny. And they both got fired from the jobs because Lloyd got fired because he walked away from an accident, and this is like the job. He's been fired from several jobs, so this is like, the 1,000th job he's been fired from. And Harry just got fired probably because of what happened with the dog groomer thing. So then they have to they have a parakeet too, which gets used later on. And they're upset. They pretty much live in a dump, and they're trying to make savings so that way they can start that business they want to start, but they're not really getting off to a good start because there's no because they keep getting fired and they keep having to live in a dump. So then Mento and Shay follow them to their house, and they realize that these guys are good. They've probably been following us all along. They think these guys are good, but they're really not. So what happens is they're going to go inside their house and pretty much get them briefcase back. So what happens is when they knock on the door, they see it's them, and they think it's the gas man. No, because the person that pays the gas bill. You know, the person you give the gas bill to. So then they bail just because of that, and they open the door, Shay and Mental, and they see that they've disappeared, and like they have to come back eventually. So they're gonna leave him a message to think about, and instead of trashing the place, they kill the parakeet, which was pretty sad. So then they go to the store. Harry sends Lloyd to go to the store and get like stuff they need. They don't really have much money, so then he gets the stuff they need, and he wanted to grab a newspaper, so he uses a quarter to do so, and then he has an old lady watch his stuff so he can go make change for $1. He's like, normally old ladies are all nice and you know, they say they're all mean and stuff, but you're pretty nice to sit and watch my stuff. And he even says, don't die when I come back. And she steals his stuff, which I knew was coming. That was hilarious, but I knew it was coming. So then they pretty much are getting sick of it. They want to leave Rhode Island. There's nothing going for them there. There's no jobs for them to find. Because they're upset they have to work like 40 hours a week, which is, I think, the normal time you're supposed to be working. So then they're gonna oh my god, my Wi-Fi is going off. Oh. So then what happens is they bail. At first, because they're gonna go to Aspen so they can return that briefcase, and at first Harry's like, no, you're not gonna go to Aspen, so you can go screw Mary Swanson. Well, this girl, he doesn't know her name yet. And he says he's sick and tired of not having anything, pretty much sick and tired of my life sucking, and he's sick and tired of having nobody. He wants to go to Aspen, start a new life. So then Harry lets them, so they start going to Aspen. In that truck, they had the dog with it, which Harry spent his entire life savings customizing that truck. So then they start leaving to Aspen, and they don't really have much money, but they have $25 extra just because and they found out too that you know, the parakeet died, but they just think that he got so old that his head fell off. Yeah, we don't pretty much know what happens though. We know Mental cut his head off. So then what happens is yeah, they arrive in and we find out that they have an extra $25 because they sold some stuff like baseball cards and jewelry, and they sold also a the headless parakeet, and he's upset by it, and they sold us all to a blind kid, so he can't even see anything. I don't know how he couldn't, you know, so he can't even see whether or not this kid has a you know what he's doing. So that was funny. So then Mental and Shay go back to their house, and they leave. The dumbest thing is they're trying to bail, so pretty much the gas person won't know where they are. But they leave a note up. I think probably Lloyd did this, and he leaves a note out telling them where they're going. You know, telling them to go into Aspen, and they think he's the gas man, and and he's like, how did you know I have gas? How does he know I have gas? And he's like, these guys are good. He's like, they must have been following us. So he says that they're not going to even make it to Aspen. That was hilarious. So then what happens is, I think they go to a restaurant. You know, they go to a restaurant. They're eating, and this was funny. Harry spilled salt, so he has to and they believe it's bad luck, so he has to throw it over his head, right shoulder, you know, do that trick so the luck goes away. And instead of sprinkling salt and throwing it over his sword, he just throws the whole container, and it hits this guy named we find Seabass, who was like a big trucker, who was this big tough guy, and he's like, who threw this at me? and he's like, Lloyd pretty much throws him under the bus, and he's like, well, no, I didn't know. You know, he tries to like say, I didn't know. It's all cool. So then he says, you're gonna eat that burger? He's like, well, I was planning on it. He says it every day, like, no, I wasn't planning on it. But he's like, I was crossed my mind. So then he spits in his food, so we can't eat it. So then they finish eating, and Lloyd's like, you were just such a pussy right there, man. You were, you know, not being a good person. You were, you know, you pretty much let him push you around. So he's gonna go make things right. And he's gonna buy them all drinks. And then he's like, okay, you know, get us 4 drinks. So what happens is instead, they just buy a bunch of shit. And they make up this bullshit lie that it's gonna come out of his pay, like it's gonna be on the tab, his tab, that he's paying for all this stuff. And then he gets pissed about it, and it was pretty funny. So then what happens is, I think, where are we now? Let me just make sure I got everything, all my facts straight. I think what happens now is, after all that is said and done, they were happy they did that it was a great idea, and he's like, how did you come up with that idea? It's like, I saw it in a movie, and then, he's like, oh, and they got away with it. He's like, no, they hunted them down and sliced their necks off. That was funny. So then what happens is, Lloyd has to take a piss. This was hilarious. So then, Harry doesn't want to stop, so what happens is he they have beer bottles, and he pisses in them, like a ton of them. And Harry is speeding, so the cop pulls him over, and gives him a ticket. And he sees the beer bottles, thinking he's drinking and driving. He's like, it's illegal to drink while you drive. And he's like, oh, we weren't drinking. So then he's like, what's in it? He's like, you don't want to know. So then he takes the beer bottle, and then he's going to take a sip out of it. Harry's like, you don't want to do that. And he's like, I do. You keep your mouth shut. I'm a cop. You're supposed to remain silent. So then when he drinks it, he drinks the piss. He drinks Lloyd's piss and makes it and says to leave. You know, get out of here. That was hilarious. You know, that was hilarious. That was fucking awesome. So then what happens is, oh, I'm stretching. Back at, so Mary's talking about how she left that briefcase there, and now it's gone. She doesn't know where it is. And we find out this guy, Bobby's been kidnapped, and, Nicholas is going to get in on it, and he doesn't want anybody to worry about it just because, wants them to go as their normal lives. And he's like, okay. Yeah, this is pretty hilarious. That was pretty awesome. So then what happens is, now this time, Lloyd's driving. And he's driving, and he has a fantasy as he's driving. And he has like a bunch of fantasies that he returns the briefcase and to Mary, and she's dressed up all like nice in a nice flowery dress, and they hug and stuff, and he lifts up her skirt, and we can see some of her ass, which was awesome. What else do we see? He's making jokes with the family, and obviously he doesn't really know who the family is, so he's just having a visual of what's going on. And he takes a lighter and floats, and the lighter goes everywhere. That was funny. They go out to eat, and the waiter's like hitting on Mary, and he beats the crap out of everybody. And the weirdest part was that this guy came out, and he just beat the crap out of him, but he like attacked his balls. That was the only thing he attacked. He even bit them, which was odd. And he goes off throws him out the window. And then this cook comes out and he's pretty much kicking his ass. He kicks him in the face, and he like falls, but he gets right back up and beats the shit out of the cook. I would say it didn't make sense, but since it's a fantasy, you know, anything can happen in a fantasy. And then afterwards, they're making out, and it pretty much looks like more that he's sucking her face when they're kissing. And they're about to have sex. She takes off her shirt, and there's like headlights where her tits would be. And he comes back to reality, and there's like this big truck with headlights, so he has to move out of the way. And Harry, who was sleeping, was like, "Do you want me to drive?" And he's like, "No." So then they sleep in this pretty much crappy motel. And they're sitting in the hot tub, and Harry's talking about how he doesn't like places like this just because his girlfriend broke up with him because it was something about that he didn't listen, but he doesn't know because he wasn't listening, so that was probably why, which was hilarious. He said that. And he thinks that she was dating someone, and he's hoping it happens for her, that he finally gets someone that he can hook up with, and that we've been best friends for a while, and they were all in the hot tub drinking beers. And then Nicholas is talking to Mental, and he's talking about how they see these guys, these are good guys, they know all the stuff about us when they're really not. And this guy wants to use the phone, and I've seen this guy a ton of places. He's been a teacher on Disney Channel like a bunch of times, a hotel instructor, and he turns his back on him. He's like, "You don't want to piss me off. You don't want to piss me off. I want to use the phone." And back then, since they didn't really have good cell phones, they were using payphones. He punches the guy, his hand through the glass, and knocks the guy out, and says that they're going to take out these guys. So then the next morning, pretty much what happens is Mento comes up with like a scheme that they're going to pretend that they have no gas in the car, and they don't want to kill these guys. They don't know them. You don't kill guys you don't know, which is I guess not really that odd. So then what happens is they are gonna like force, like he's pretending to be a hitchhiker, and he's gonna pick him up, and afterwards Shay's gonna follow them, and they pick him up. You know, that's what's good. They picked him up, and they're pretty much being annoying. They're playing tag, which annoys the crap out of them. What else did they do? They sing the Mockingbird song, and they were just pretty much being annoying as fuck. And he was gonna kill him, but then they pick up more hitchhikers and start singing the Mockingbird song again. So then they go to this restaurant, and they find this really hot pepper. I forget what they called it. And they were both going to eat it, and they're both telling him, "Hey, why don't you eat it first? I'll eat it." And they're arguing. And Mento's like, "Stop being pussies, and you both eat it at the same time." So they both eat it, and it makes them like really hot. And they try to use, and Harry's using ketchup and mustard to get the hot taste out of his mouth. So then Mento goes to make the call, and he tells them that because they don't want him to make it at Aspen. And he tells them that after he sticks some red poison in their Shirley Temple, they won't be going anywhere. You know, he's going to kill them pretty much. And Shirley Temple is like an alcoholic, for those people that don't know. So then what happened is, as he was gone, Harry and Lloyd put the hot peppers, like, it wasn't one, two, it was like a shit ton of them, in his cheeseburger. And he asked about, like, why are you going? He pretty much is just asking questions like, where are you going and stuff, and he says, we're going to Aspen, and they talk about that briefcase, and how they grabbed it, and we're trying to give it back to this girl, and he's like, oh, you don't know her. So they're trying to, like, cover up that they're laughing too, just because they put the stuff in their burger, and they keep encouraging him to eat his cheeseburger. And he eats it, and it makes him all hot. He's, like, burning up. And, but then he starts, because he had like some sort of, well, let's see what they called it. He had some sort of like sickness that he had. It was called stomach euchre, and he had to take medication for it to make it stop. And they wanted to get his pills, and Lloyd tries to give him CPR, but he's not having it. And they give him the pills, but it was the red poison, so it kills him. It was like hilarious. And then they were like in shock. And then afterwards, detectives are looking in on it and pretty much saying where they're going and what vehicle they're driving. So pretty much what happens, and they're like in shock that they killed this guy. He's like, we didn't mean to do it. So yeah, that was kind of hilarious. And then what happens next? They stop driving. Lloyd goes to take a piss, and afterward, while Harry fills up the gas tank, and he meets this girl named Beth. And we find out that he asked like weird questions at first, like asked if they were his skis, both of them. He's like, yeah. What happens afterwards is he meets this girl, and he's gonna get her phone number. You know, they're flirting. She's going to Colorado too. She's gonna move there because she of her abusive boyfriend. He like abused her, and they're gonna like hook up together. He gets her phone. She says, "I'll give you my phone number," and he doesn't remember it. He said, and what happened is he even said that her boyfriend was accident prone. He's like, "Oh no, that's not me." And he says you have to stay. And she said that your therapist says I need to stay away from guys that are accident prone. And he leans on the mirror and he breaks the mirror. And he catches and he had helped lit up a cigarette. Why I'm saying this is because after this he had caught on fire. How he caught on fire, I don't know. Maybe he didn't put out the match or something, but that was just weird. He caught on fire. And he's trying to get her phone number, and he's like, and she's gonna write it down for him, but since he's on fire, he's just like wants to get it quickly so he can go put it out because he's trying to play this out all cool. But eventually, since he's on fire, he's just like, just hurry up and give me the damn number. And he's like, well, if you're gonna be pushy like that, no. So she drives away. And then earlier in as this was happening, Lloyd was taking his piss, and he reads the sign that says, looking for a little manly love. Be here at exactly 2:15 a.m. And he looks at his clock, and it's 2:15 a.m. So he locks the bathroom door, but then the guy comes in, and it's sea bass, and he's gonna beat the crap out of Lloyd. But then Harry comes in, and he's gonna try to put the fire out by sticking his foot in the toilet, and he opens the door. And it pretty much takes out Seabass, and he puts the fire out, and yeah, he just looks at it like, oh, yeah. So then they're gonna take Harry takes over driving because Lloyd takes over driving, and because Harry's been driving for like 9 hours. So then what happens is he's not really paying attention. He's like doing stuff to Harry as he's doing it. And he did say, actually, they had like a bet for $20 that he's going to get him to gamble. And what happens is it works because he pays him $20, but he doesn't know it. So what happens, though, is he's just not paying attention. And instead of going to Colorado, he makes a wrong turn. He goes completely off the state. So then when Harry wakes up, he's like, wow, this place looks weird. This is supposed to be supposed to look like a state. Colorado doesn't look what it looks like. He realizes that he made the wrong turn. He gets pissed off. He's like, you've done a lot of dumb things, and you made a wrong turn, and now we don't have enough money to get to Colorado. We don't have enough money for food or to sleep. And then he says, hey, don't be a baby about it. We just need to make opportunities. So then he's like, he just goes off by himself. He says he's going to walk home. So he starts walking home, and Lloyd comes with a motorized scooter, and he says, you still want to go to Aspen? And he says, yeah. We find out that he got this scooter from the from this guy, from this little kid. He traded something for her. Who knows what he traded? So they make the scooter to and they get to Aspen. Doing this, I was showing this montage. He's like, I gotta stop. I gotta take a piss. And he's like, just go right now. So then he takes a piss, and he's like, oh, it feels so warm, and it's on his back because he's like, it's like a motorcycle. So then they finally get to Aspen, and Harry's like, I'm starving. But Lloyd's not hungry because he swallowed a bug on the way. And the problem is Lloyd doesn't know where Mary lives, and he doesn't remember her last name. I thought her last name was Sampson, and since I had only heard it once, I thought it was, but it was actually Swanson. So yeah, I thought it was Sampson. And it was on the briefcase, but he didn't get the last name right. So I think he read it wrong or something. So they can't find the last name. So they sleep out there, and they're trying to keep their hands warm. And he's like, man, my hands are freezing. And then Lloyd's like, oh, I take my extra pair of gloves. He was wearing 2 pairs of gloves. And he's like, you were wearing 2 pairs of gloves? And then he's like, well, yeah, you're going to the Colorado. It's cold out here. So then Harry wants to kill Lloyd. He pretty much wants to kill him, and he's going to dump the briefcase. He's going to throw the briefcase in the river because it's like a curse. And then Harry, and they're fighting, and Harry's choking him, and Lloyd's like, your hands are freezing. And then he like tossed the briefcase, and they couldn't get it open for the longest time, and they finally get it open. And then they're like, okay, what's going to happen is going to give him IOUs, which is bad because that means he'll have to pay them. So they're going to spend their money pretty much. They go to this awesome hotel, eat awesome food, get a bunch of shit that they don't need. They pretty much are like wasting money, but it's not their money, so I guess it's okay to them. They even use it as like they were watching like a sad romantic movie, and they use it to wipe their eyes and blow their noses. And then somehow, I forget how, but they find out about, oh, I remember, because in the paper, they were talking about Mary and how they have this benefit going on, which they talked about earlier. And then they're going to go to this benefit, get them all niced up, and they're going to dress up all nice. They play this montage of him trying on clothes, getting a pedicure, which his feet looked horrendous, and they had to use like a saw, like to cut his toenails. He's getting a shave, and the barber cuts him, but it was a prank, and the barber fainted though, so it was funny. And Harry's getting a massage, and then eventually he gives the girl a massage, which was funny. And then he gets a haircut, and, they're trying on tuxedos, and they don't like any of them. But then he tries on an orange tuxedo, which was hilarious, because he just looked like a goof, but they thought that one was a good tuxedo to wear. So they both go to this tuxedo, and Lloyd's in an orange tuxedo, and Harry's in a blue one, a light blue one. And it's a $500 fee to get into this, and we see Nicholas. This is the guy that was kept talking to Shay on the phone. No, not Shay, Mental. And Shay says, these are the guys that stole the briefcase. So they start drinking, and he does see Mary eventually. Then we find out this benefits for owls. It's for birds. I forget why. I think maybe to save them or something. And they see Mary, and he's so nervous to go talk to her. So what happens is he's going to have, like, Harry go be his wingman. Just hype him up, talk about how great he is. So he does so, and I had a feeling it wasn't going to go good. But the first thing he says is, that's a nice pair of Hooters, right? And I think thought she was talking about her tits. She was like, what? Well, I said, she's like, what? It's like the owls. He's like, and she's like, oh yeah. And he's just pretty much like not saying the right thing because like he doesn't really know how to talk to girls. And he's talking about how he loves dogs. Well, he calls it canines, and we breed them and stuff, and and he's like, oh really? He's like, we mixed a bulldog with a Shih Tzu, and then he's like, and we called it a bullshit. That was funny. Which was funny, cheesy but funny. So then the stepmom comes over. I forget her name, and she pretty much hooks him up with this guy, and hooks, they never met before, so they hook up, and Harry's like, well, wait, my friend here, and he's keep trying to bring up his friend, and Harry says, okay, yeah, sure. Eventually, he keeps saying no, but he came, yeah, sure. But so the stepmom started all this, but technically it was Lloyd's fault because he made him go talk to her when he didn't want to. So then he says, he makes up this bullshit thing how you have a date tomorrow. At first I thought he was just going to have him go have the date, but that's not what happens. What happened is Lloyd goes to a bar in the hotel, and pretty much they go out at 10 a.m. and they're going to have drinks there, which is weird that you don't normally drink at 10 a.m. But then it was all a lie. They go skiing, which is something they do, and Harry and Mary are going skiing, and he's like a klutz, so he knocks like the skis over. So then they're riding on that thing that you ride on, like to go on the ski, like the benches you would ride on. I forget what it's called, because I don't go skiing. And she says, I know this is nice. I haven't been out in a couple of weeks because I've been going through some family issues. And she's like, but I don't want to bore you with those. But then he's like, thanks. I think what happened was normally when a girl says that, you're supposed to say, no, I'd love to hear. And then she tells you about it, and you get bored, pretty much. Well, unless it's good stuff. And then, but he said thanks, which is weird. And then he like licks the bench, and his tongue gets stuck to the bench, which was hilarious. So then he tries to go down off the bench, and Mary sees this eventually after she's done skiing, of course. And she tries to rip his tongue off, which looked awful. This was hilarious. So then they eventually they make a snowman, and I don't know if he's never made a since it's called Dumb and Dumber, I think they're supposed to be really dumb. I don't know if he's never made a snowman before. So when Mary gives him like the carrot and the two like rocks you're supposed to use as like the eyes, the rocks would be like the eyes and the carrot would be the nose. Instead it's like the dick and I guess something else on it. He puts the eyes at the bottom, and I guess she thought it was a joke, but it wasn't. So then she throws a snowball at him, and I don't really know if he's ever thrown a snowball before. So then he like gets pissed, and he grabs a snowball and like fucking chucks it at her. And then she does the same thing to him, and then he tackles her down, and it was supposed to be like this big joke. She thought it was a joke, but it was. I think he was serious, and then he starts laughing. So then he drives her back to the. Lloyd was waiting in the bar for Mary, but since Mary's with Harry, it didn't work out in the bartender. And he's like, she's probably just running late. It was like 1:00 p.m. So then he's like, she's probably running late, and the bartender's like, this is on me. So then we see Beth, the girl that we saw at the gas station that was going to give Harry her number. So it got really weird, and she was telling him about his boyfriend that he didn't fucking care about, which I probably wouldn't care about either. And he even was like, I don't care! So that was getting really weird. She was like having a crush on him. And he asked when Mary Sampson's coming, if he knows Mary Sampson, so that way she knows that she's actually dating someone. He's dating someone. Like, this was pretty funny stuff, just because it was like kind of like the opposite. Harry was fucking going out with the girl that Lloyd wanted to go out with, and Harry was and Lloyd was going out with the girl. Well, technically talking to the girl that Harry wanted to go out with. So then he's gonna go. He finds out though where Mary lives, and Harry drives Mary back to her house, and he's gonna pick her back up at 7:45. But he's like, no, I got stuff to do. I'll pick you up at 7:45, and she thinks he's kidding, but he's not. So he's like, no, I'll pick her up at 7:45, and he does. So then what happens next? Oh, and then Lloyd sees that Harry was there. So then Lloyd's making up this lie, like, why did you think, why would she not show up? Because he pretends that he doesn't know, and he's like, I don't know. And then Lloyd says, oh, when I said 10, I meant 10 p.m., not 10 a.m., and he's like, oh, I thought she might have been like an alcoholic or something. And then he's like, yeah, you're just funny. So then he's like, why don't you go back out and try again? He's like, okay. And he's like, since I got nothing to do, I'm just going to go catch a flick. So then he goes walk out, and Harry's like, why don't we make a toast about it? And he puts laxatives in his tea. And Harry drinks it. He's supposed to put like a little dab. He puts like the whole fucking thing in the tea. So that was funny. So while he's driving there, he's shitting himself. And it's not like you can hold it in. Like once you fucking go, like once you have to go, it just fucking oozes out. It's pretty gross. So what happens is, yeah, when Harry gets there, he fucking takes a shit in Mary's toilets. And we find out the toilet, and he's airing it out too on the window, and we find out the toilet doesn't flush. It doesn't work. So he tries to get it to flush, it fucking fails. So then we see on the news that the blind kid found out that the parakeet had no head. I think he glued the head. I think what happened was when Lloyd sold him that, he like glued the head together so that way he'd know. So then what happens is Harry comes to Mary's house and says, I found your briefcase, come get it. So then she's like, thank you, and she has to go do that, and he races her up the stairs, and they go in a room, and she thanks him for bringing it back. And then Lloyd's like talking to saying like I want to make love with you like a schoolboy or something, and he wasn't really talking to her. So then he was like talking to her invisibly. So then when he tells her that, he's like, I want to make love with a schoolboy. And then he gets creeped. No, was it a girl or a boy? I think it was a schoolgirl. He's like, and then she thought weird. He's like, no, I want to. And then he says that I drove all this way because I love you. I love you. What are the odds of you and I coming together? He's like, not good. I thought she was gonna say like yeah, but she's like not good. So then he says like 1 in 100, and she's like 1 in 1,000, and he's like, well, there's still a chance. So then someone knocks on the door, and Nicholas he answers it, and it's Nicholas, and we find out Nicholas is bad, which is something we already pretty much knew, and he aims a gun at him, and he says he has to go now or something, and he says she's like, why would you do this after all we did for you? And he makes him open the briefcase, and it's a bunch of IOUs in there. He's like, oh, it's better. So then he says, get down. He just points the gun at him. So then what happens is Harry comes back to the hotel, and he sees Beth. He's like, what are you doing here? So we don't really find out what happens with this. I was like, why? That was kind of a nothing scene, but we find out later. So then what happens is Harry comes in, and he's apologizing to Lloyd about everything that was going on. So then what happens is what was his name? I don't even remember his name now. What the fuck? So then Nicholas, I was going to call him Nathan, but Nicholas holds the gun at his head, and he forces him to go on the bed, and he's like, okay, I'm going to shoot one of you, and he's even going to ask for a plane ticket and stuff, and he says he's going to shoot one of them. And pretty much too, like the friendship. They were talking about how they were fucking each other's girls, and if we gonna let a beautiful girl get in between our friendship, then what was really our friendship? So then when he's gonna shoot them, they both offer to have them each other get shot. Like Lloyd says, "Hey, I started all this. Let me finish it. You know, I started all this. Let me kill me." So then Harry's like, "No, kill me. I stole your girlfriend. I deserve to die." So then Nicholas shoots him. So then what happens is he's like, "Are you a cold man? How could you do such a thing?" And he's like, "Don't worry, you'll be reunited here with him soon." So then what happens is Harry comes back to life and starts shooting at the guy, and he fucking misses. And he's like, "You're not dead." He's like, "No, I'm wearing a protective And he's like, "No." And then so then he says no. But he's like, "But you're a lousy shot." So then what happens is the police come in and arrest the guy, and we find out it was all a trick. Beth is actually was actually undercover. She was a pretend cop, which I was surprised about. And we find out that Harry was wearing armor, so that way like he couldn't be shot. So when he got shot, like nothing would happen to him, which I knew. And yeah, it was all a big scam. But then Lloyd brings up a good point. Like, what if he got shot in the face though? And then Beth says it was a chance we were willing to take. So yeah. So then what happens is everyone's reunited, and he's gonna Lloyd says it was all worth coming here to meet the girl of my dreams, Mary. And then Bobby comes back, her husband, and they reunite together. And then she's like, "I want you to meet the nicest man in the world." And then Lloyd goes off, takes a gun, and starts shooting at everything. And it was all a fantasy, though. He meets him and thanks him for doing all he did. And they shake hands, and he's like forcefully shaking his hand. So then what happens is pretty much Lloyd and Harry get nothing. They didn't get the girl. They didn't get anything. They just kind of came back losers. They went there losers, came back losers. There was no happy ending for them. I was thinking there was not going to be. But then we meet. This bus pulls in, and it's a bunch of girls in bikinis, and they're gonna go to this big bikini shootout for a few months, and they need guys to rub oil on them, or like some sort of lotion on them, and then he's like, "There's a town a couple miles this way, 3 miles this way." So then they drive off, and she's like, "Oh, okay." And I was just like, "You idiots! You had the opportunity to spend 3 months with like hot bikini girls for like 3 months, and you didn't fucking do it." But then Lloyd stops him and says, "Sorry, my friend here's an idiot sometimes." And he says, "The town's 3 miles this way." Goes the other way. So then she's like, "Wow, those 2 guys are gonna catch their break by getting to spend a month with those girls." And then he's like, "Yeah, but don't worry, we'll catch our break." And then it ends. That was fucking dumb. I mean, they pretty much could have just had the time of their lives with these girls, Fuck Mary. Mary's just one girl. If I had the opportunity and I got to spend a few months with a bunch of with bikini girls rubbing oil on them, I'd fucking take it. But no, they didn't. But since it's called, that's pretty much why it's called Dumb and Dumber, because one's dumb and the other's dumber. And I think Harry's dumb and Lloyd's dumber. Or you could say Lloyd, because Lloyd pretty much screwed everything up. I mean, he's the reason they couldn't even use the vehicle anymore. So yeah, that's pretty much how it ended. Overall. Well, let me first, before I talk about what my thoughts on the movie, let me talk about the actors. So, Jim Carrey played the role of Lloyd Christmas. Jeff Daniels played the role of Harry Dunn. Lloyd Hawley played the role as Mary Swanson. Karen Duffy played the role as JPJ. Mike Starr played the role as Joe Mental. Chris Rocket plays the role as Nicholas Andrea. I think that's, or Andre. I don't know what that's supposed to say. Victoria Wollo plays the role as Beth Jordan. Terry Garr is Helen Swanson. Cam Neely is C. Bass. Joe Baker is Bernard. I think it's like the dog. Brad Lockerman is Bob Swanson, Mary's husband. Lynn Shane is Mrs. Newell Borton. I don't remember who that is. Hank Britton is Carl Swanson. Harlan Williams is Pennsylvania State Trooper. Brady Bloom is Billy, the blind person in the wheelchair. Juan Morgan is the bartender. Lizzie Stallworth is the Australian bus stop beauty. Connie Sawyer is the elderly woman. I think that stole Lloyd's stuff. Fred Stroller is is the person that was on the phone that got punched in the fucking face. So that was the stuff, and this was an awesome movie. You know, made me laugh a lot, and it was a good movie. I thought it was awesome. I definitely suggest you check it out. And that's pretty much it, guys. I'll be back next Monday to give you another movie review. And subscribe to my channel, too. But yeah, I'll be back next Monday to give you another Movie Monday review.